And good evening, everyone, and welcome into our rebranded show. This is now the Fight Cards podcast presented by Orange Fire Media, and I'm your host, Russ Reneau. Thanks for joining us here on episode number 7. This is now the Fight Cards podcast again, previously the Orange Fire Media podcast. So, the reason for the rebrand, I just thought that as far as marketing goes, just letting people know exactly what this podcast is about. And we open UFC cards on this show. We talk about the UFC. That's what we do first. And then we get into whatever we're opening tonight. So looking forward to that. And we'll get to that in just a minute. So anything that we open on the show is available to you. Everything is for sale, for trade, offer, whatever you want to do, let me know. You can reach me at russ@orange-fire.com. You can reach us on social media at Orange Fire Media on any social media platform. You can find us on Facebook. You can find me, Russ Reneau, or the Orange Fire Media page, whichever one. There's a lot of places to find us, but we're glad that you're watching tonight. We're live every Sunday, 9 p.m. Central Time. I am in the Houston area, so that is why we're on at 9 p.m. Central. And just looking forward to everyone joining in the community and adding to this show. And anything that you want to add to the show, feel free to do. There's a chat box that open to you, and you can send me a message in there and just let me know what's on your mind, and I'll try to get to any questions, any comments that you have. And one of the good things that you can put in that box is what fighters do you collect, because anything I pull out of here, that could be yours. And so just let me know who you PC, and be fun to talk about, and I can talk about that as I go along, because I'm looking forward to tonight. So we'll show you what we have on deck this evening. So this is our last round of Optic for 2022. So we've got a retail box here that we'll open first, and then we've got our last Optic hobby box of the year, we think, right there. And so those are the products we have remaining, and next week we are going to open this box of 2022 Prizm hobby box that I'm really looking forward to. And I'll said it once, said it again, I'm really looking forward to that, and we've really kind of held on to it. I haven't opened any Prizm hobby boxes yet this year. I got in this year on the Don Russ and opened everything else since, went into Select and Chronicles and Optic, and had 2 boxes of Immaculate that we opened a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and the week before that we opened Immaculate and have all of that available, and we'll show that to you as we go along. So really looking forward to getting into this and really revealing what we have coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I'm really excited about what's on the way as well. So we also have card giveaways, and that is going to be exclusively open to subscribers. So hit that button to subscribe to the show. You'll never miss a show. You'll get alerted when it's happening, but you know that every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central that I'm going to be here talking about the previous night's card and the upcoming events, and we'll be opening cards every Sunday. And the Sundays that we don't, then I'll be getting into what I like to call my lot box, and that's cards that I've pulled over the last year, and I've broken them down by fighter lots, and I'll show you what I've pulled over the last year out of these products. And when we get through the Prizm, I'll break all those up and show everybody what is in there. We'll see exactly what all we pulled this year, and I'll be getting into what we've pulled over the last couple weeks here in just a little bit. So I did want to get that lot box closer to me, because we may pull some things out of there and show you what we've been able to pull out of there over the last couple of weeks out of Immaculate and Optic, and show you some of these great cards that we've been seeing here on the show. So now we get into the portion of the show where we talk about last night's card, and I'm going to keep this one kind of short, because last week I talked a lot about UFC 285, and we got a pretty long show, but it was okay. We're opening a hobby box, so it was a lot of fun, but I do want to keep it a little bit shorter so that we can maximize our time opening cards. And the other reason for that is that's not my specialty. That this show is for the hobby and for the people who collect cards. And there are a lot of really good podcasts out there with fighters and former fighters who can break down a fight a lot better than I can. And so I'm going to leave that to them because I really respect what they do. And hopefully they, one day they'll respect what I do. That's a little bit different. That's what we want to do. We want to be different than what the fighters and the former fighters are doing because, like I said, they're better than than I am. But what I am going to do is talk about the fights, the results, mostly from the main cards usually. Sometimes we'll get into some things that are just of interest that will make for some good fights later on, and we'll talk a little bit about those sometimes. We'll kind of see what's coming up and what's been announced this week and stay on top of UFC news. Later on in the show, we'll also get into one of our segments that we've created here, and that's the Hobby Top 5. And that's the top 5 UFC fighters in the hobby, not necessarily the top 5 fighters, pound for pound, but just the top 5 fighters that people are collecting right now. And we do that list every week, and we'll get into that and reveal those and see what everybody's kind of looking for, the products that everybody's after right now, especially as the 23 Prizm comes out. And we'll talk about 23 Prizm right after we talk about the cards and before we get into the Hobby Top 5 for this week. So I want to talk about last night's UFC event from the Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas. And the main event was third-ranked Merab Dvalishvili against second-ranked Petr Yan in the bantamweight division. And what a performance by Merab Dvalishvili. A unanimous decision, a shutout, going 50-45 over former champion Petr Yan, who's now lost 2 in a row. So Dvalishvili really putting himself on the map last night with a spectacular performance with a ton of takedowns, a ton of strikes, and really the first time that Petr Yan has been dominated in that fashion. So really interesting what that does to the bantamweight division for this reason, because Merab Dvalishvili and champion Aljamain Sterling are very close. You saw Aljo in the ring last night with Merab and on his team, and those two guys have sworn that they will never face each other in the octagon. And so what Aljo's plan is probably coming up here at UFC 288 is to defeat Henry Cejudo, defeat Sean O'Malley, and probably move up to featherweight. So that is what it looks like Aljo's plan is, and leaving that door open for Merab to take his place in those two for their careers not to cross, their career paths not to cross. So pretty interesting with that decision last night, what that does to the bantamweight division. So it should be a lot of fun going forward, and we'll talk about UFC 288 in just a little bit. We also saw in a light heavyweight matchup, it's actually a catchweight at 215, but Nikita Krylov defeating Ryan Spann in a top 10 matchup. Krylov coming in ranked number 6, Spann coming in at number 8, and Krylov getting the submission in the first round. Spann going for trying to take the back, and Krylov slipping out the side door and then grabbing on to Spann and getting the sub. So great performance by Krylov, and see where that takes him going forward. Got a lot of light heavyweight matchups coming up with Anthony Smith, top-ranked guys coming back, Alexander Rakic. So it'd be pretty interesting what they can do in light heavyweight. Also saw Alexander Volkov, the 8th-ranked heavyweight, defeating the 13th-ranked heavyweight, Alexander Romanov, with a knockout in the first round. So Romanov, a big setback there, and Volkov setting himself up very nicely. Kind of something that I'd like to keep my eye on is the return of Tom Aspinall, because I collect Tom Aspinall, and I've been on Tom, big fan. So, really disappointed with that injury he suffered against Curtis Blades. Wanted to see how that one turned out, but Tom should be coming back soon, and Volkov might be a guy that you see him come back against. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And that's some of the things that we do here on the show, is just keep an eye on people coming back and kind of look at some of the matchups coming up. And real quickly, I want to get to some of the other ones from last night. Some upsets of sorts. Jonathan Martinez in a bantamweight matchup, defeating 14th ranked Saeed Nurmagomedov in a unanimous decision. And also Bruno Silva defeating 15th ranked Tyson Nam in the flyweight division with a submission in the second round. So two ranked fighters falling to unranked fighters last night. We had the fight of the night, Vitor Petrino defeating Anton Turkalj in the light heavyweight matchup, a unanimous decision. And also another one of note, Davy Grant defeating Rafael Assunção in the bantamweight division with a submission in the third round with 17 seconds left in the fight. And not only was it a submission, a reverse triangle choke that you don't see very often. And if you didn't see it, go back and watch the highlights. Really impressive move by Grant to defeat Assunção, and it might be the sunset on Rafael's career. So those are all the fights of notes from last night, and we'll kind of get into what is coming up next week. And you know we have a big one from London. Next Saturday from the O2 Arena, the welterweight champion, Leon Edwards, taking on the former champion and the number one ranked contender, Kamaru Usman. And you saw Edwards defeating Usman in Salt Lake City last August, and now the rematch, the rubber match in this trilogy. Usman got the first one. Edwards waited a long time to get his shot again. Usman pretty much in control of the fight until the very closing minute of the fight, and Edwards, we know, landed that shot heard around the world with that head kick of Usman, and we had a new champion. So the rematch, the rubber match, coming up in the main event at UFC 286 next Saturday, and we'll be talking about that quite a bit next Sunday here on the show. Another matchup in the lightweight division, a top 6 matchup, Justin Gaethje ranked number 3 against Rafael Fiziev, number 6, someone who's really come on and been on the rise as of late. We talk about the rest of the main card. Gunnar Nelson against Brian Barberena in the welterweight division. We've got a women's flyweight matchup with number 9 against number 11. Jennifer Maia, number 9, against Casey O'Neill, the 11th ranked fighter. And to round out the main card, in the middleweight division, number 4, Marvin Vettori against number 8, Roman Dolidze. So that is quite a main card, but there's also a couple of ranked fighters on the prelims. Jack Shore, 15th ranked featherweight, taking on Makwan Amirkhani. And in the flyweight division, number 12, Muhammad Mokaev against Rafael Filo in that flyweight division. So as we kind of look at some of the events that have been added recently, as we look ahead to Fight Night on March 25th in San Antonio, right here in my home state. Really looking forward to that. Unfortunately, I can't go, but I really want to, because there's somebody that's been added to this card who I'm going to be a big fan of, and hopefully she has some cards coming out next year, because Haley Cowan been put on this card against Tamaris Vidal in the women's bantamweight division. Haley Cowan, removed from a card a couple of weeks ago, had a ruptured ovarian cyst, and she has recovered from that, added to the March 25th event, and I'm just looking forward to it because Haley is a Baylor Bear, and I went to Baylor, and I really, just really want to support Haley and what she's doing. The first woman from Central Texas, from Waco, to step into the octagon, and that's going to be tremendous with all the support she has from not only the Baylor community, but from all of Central Texas. So definitely going to be one of my favorite fighters going forward, as she's coming off the Dana White Contender Series and making her UFC debut in 2 weeks in San Antonio. So she lucked out. She got to make her debut in her home state instead of in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. So really looking forward to that, and that is on the undercard of Marlon Chito Vera against Corey Sandhagen. And also, we know that coming up on UFC 287, April 8th in Miami, got the champion Alex Pereira against the former champion, number 1 ranked contender Israel Adesanya in the middleweight division. Some other events following that. Fight night on April 15th in Kansas City. Number 1 Max Holloway against number 4 Arnold Allen, the featherweight division. Fight night coming up on April 22nd in Las Vegas. Heavyweight matchup, number 3 Sergey Pavlovich against number 4 Curtis Blades, and that'll be huge because you think that the winner of that matchup will get the winner between John Jones and Stipe Miocic coming up probably at UFC 290 on July 8th in Las Vegas. So you look at something maybe towards the end of the year with those winners of those two matchups going head to head. And I think that's all that was added this week. We do have a couple of fights that were added here and there. Won't talk about everything that's in between there because we talked about that last week. But some of the things that were added, Fight Night on May 20th in the women's strawweight division, number 7, Mackenzie Dern will be taking on number 12, Angela Hill. And also on June 3rd, in a yet-to-be-determined event, looks like in the women's bantamweight division, yet to be officially announced, but number 11, Miesha Tate, will be taking on number 10, Mayra Bueno Silva. So those are all the things to look forward to as the UFC schedule keeps rolling along here in 2023. So one of the things I do want to talk about here on the show before we get into opening some of these cards is 2023 Prizm will be coming out pretty soon, and we didn't really have any firm dates the last couple of weeks. Don't have a checklist yet, but starting to get a little bit more information. So let's talk about that real quick. So it looks like the hobby for Prizm will be coming out on April 28th, and those are going to be about $300 a piece for those hobby boxes. 12 cards per pack, 12 packs, and there'll be 2 autos, 22 parallels, and 12 inserts on average per hobby box. So 2 autograph cards. And the Prizm hobby on April 28th, a lot of times Panini's dates get pushed back. Hopefully they don't, because I'm going to run out of stuff to open on this show. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to open here in a few weeks in just a second. And you don't want to miss that, because I think I picked up some good stuff that you might want to see. So there's also an interesting new product or a new line coming out with Prizm, and that's going to be a box called Undercard. And those will be available on May 10th. That's a tentative date. And those will be about $200 a piece. Those are 9 cards per pack, 10 packs, and 1 autograph. So that's a different product than the retail. So 1 autograph, 18 inserts or parallels, and 1 base variation per box. So usually in a retail box, you don't see many autographs. It's very rare to pull an autograph out of a retail box, but the undercard is pretty much guarantee you that you're going to get 1. So that's different than the retail, and that's why that price tag is a little bit higher. You see a retail box usually go for $20 to $40, just depending on where you're getting it from. So another option in this product, and I don't know when the retail boxes will be out, but we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll keep an eye on when the checklist comes out as well. So now is time for our hobby top 5, and that is, again, for those just joining us, that is the top 5 fighters in the hobby right now. Not necessarily the top 5 fighters, just the top 5 that everybody is looking for, who people are collecting, who they're after right now. And a lot of those are going to be rookies and fighters who have had, debuted more recently, as people want to get their hands on those cards, those rookie cards, those early career cards as quickly as they can. And I think our list kind of reflects that. So this week, our list remains unchanged. So we will start with number 5, as we always do. And if you watched last week, you already know these. So number 5 is Israel Adesanya, coming up with that huge rematch with Alex Pereira coming up. And the reason why Izzy has made it into this top 5 and stuck there the last 2 weeks is because he is in all of the products, has a lot of inserts, a lot of numbered cards, a lot of autographs, a lot of those being in the more select products that people are looking for, like the downtown cards, the kabooms. Izzy being in all of those really helps his stock for people who just like him as a fighter, and also in the hobby, because you can find a lot of cards of Izzy if you're a big fan of his. So number 4 is Sugar Sean O'Malley. A lot of people always asking about Sean O'Malley in the groups that I'm a part of, and one of the bigger groups that I enjoy is UFC Sports Cards group. Kevin Fernandez running the breaks, and he's probably running one right now in parallel to my show. So I encourage you to check out Kevin's breaks. They do a great job, and really a good community to be a part of if you're looking for a place to get plugged in and find other people who collect UFC trading cards. This is also a great place, so hit that subscribe button and don't miss a show. And also be entered into our card giveaways. We're going to have some card giveaways at some point this year after we get through that box of Prizm, so I can break down all the 2022 fighter cards that I have, break them down by fighter, make them available to you. And so I hope you'll subscribe and enter into that giveaway, because you have to be a subscriber in order to win. And I'll show you those in just a minute. We'll get to those before we get into these cards. I want to show you just what you can win on this show. If you have a comment, you have a question, please drop it in the chat and I can see it and we can talk about that as well. So we continue on our hobby top 5. Number 3 is Islam Makhachev. Just recently had that victory over Alex Volkanovski. Makhachev was at the top of our hobby top 5 the first couple of weeks, but that decision over Volkanovski actually dropped his stock in our hobby top 5 a little bit because these two other fighters are the hot names in the hobby right now. Number 2 is Khamzat Chimaev. He's been kind of inactive for a while, except back in the fall in a catchweight matchup, but people just really want to see if Khamzat can make weight and really contend for a title at whatever weight that he can land on. And number 1 also remains unchanged and coming off a huge victory last week. Did not hurt his stock one bit, and that is Shavkat Rakhmonov. So he is number 1 on our list still. And so he remains there, and it looks like he will for the foreseeable future, at least until the 2023 Prizm comes out. And we'll see what fighters can add to that and challenge for a spot on this list. So what I'm going to do right now, let me dig into our lot box and just kind of give you an idea of what we've been doing on the show and what we have coming up. So I do want to show you what we pulled out of the immaculate products that we had. And we start here with the 3 of 4 Henry Cejudo with the jumbo memorabilia and the walkout pants. So that is number 3 of 4. And we pulled all-time greats Matt Brown on-card autograph. Zhang Wei Li, also numbered to 99 on-card autograph. All of these in immaculate were. Another jumbo memorabilia card, but this one numbered to 99 with Francis Ngannou. Derek Lewis autograph memorabilia card numbered to 99. We got a good one here, a gold all-time greats. Mark Coleman numbered to 10. Number 4 of 10. Another memorabilia autograph with former strawweight champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk. A couple more memorabilia cards numbered to 99. Tisha Torres and Tai Tuivasa. This one not available at the moment because I collect him, but there's the Tom Aspinall. The shadow box autograph, numbered to 99. And the red base card, but numbered to 25, Yuri Prochazka. So those were the pulls that we had from Immaculate. And now I'll show you what we have in the card giveaways. If you can just bear with me just a second. Usually I have these all pulled out, but just give me just a second today. One of the things that I didn't get a chance to do right before the show started. I am a one-man show, so we do hope that the quality improves over time. And one of the things that we're going to need help with going forward, as we sell these cards, just to let you know that everything that I sell in the show will go back into the show right now. That I am looking to buy as much Prizm as I can coming up. So really want to put it back into the show and put it back into your hands as you try to get, the cards that you want. And so that's just transparency right there, that I'm not asking right now for to have a salary or anything yet. I want to monetize this show to make it better, to get a producer in here so I don't have to do everything on my own all the time, and that I can really make this a better place for you. So here are our fighter lots, and let's start with the big one. All of these have a numbered card in them. We're going to be giving all of these away at some point. And there's the number card in this one. This is a John Jones lot. And so how much better can you get than that? The current heavyweight champion, the current GOAT. So all of those John Jones cards, I think all of these are up to at least 10 cards right now. Or at least close, and we may add to them tonight. We've been adding to these as we go. There's the numbered Robert Whitaker of Phoenix from Chronicles, and you can see all of these Robert Whitaker cards. So these are all former champions, current champions, title contenders. So really looking forward to giving these away. So, but you have to be a subscriber in order to be eligible. So please subscribe and make sure it's public so I can see your name, so you can be entered in. So here's Jan Blachowicz. We'll be giving away this lot as well. A lot of Chronicles in here right now. Hopefully we'll add some Optic to them today and some Prizm to it next week. Here we go with the Justin Gaethje lot. There's the numbered card on top. And see all the Justin Gaethje cards that somebody is going to end up with for free. And the last one we have is former women's bantamweight champion Holly Holm. There's the 39 of 99 right there on top. And a huge Holly Holm lot for someone just trying to get into collecting. These are a good place to start. Actually, that one got misplaced, so there is one more in the Gaethje lot. So there's all those Holly Holm cards that will be included. So hope you're looking forward to that, and hope you subscribe to the show and have a chance to win those. Like I said, you can contact me at russ@orange-fire.com, or all the social media platforms are at Orange Fire Media. And this is the newly rebranded the Fight Cards Podcast. And so now, without further ado, we will get into this Optic retail and this Optic hobby. We'll start with the retail first. So I do like to keep the cards protected. So bear with me while I get the gloves on. We got to be careful, when offering these products up to other people. We want to take as good care of them as we can. Another thing I want to say about the show is we really do just want this to be a good community. A lot of UFC podcasts, even ones I listen to, fighters will do what fighters do. They'll say what fighters say, and might not be the cleanest show, might not be the most family-friendly show, but great shows nonetheless. But we want to make this a more of a clean place, because as more kids are involved in the hobby, and we want this to be a place that they can be and feel a part of, and just a good, clean family place to open some cards. And so there's a time and place for everything. But on this show, just kind of the audience that we're dealing with, some youth who are trying to get into collecting and trying to get some guidance, that we just want to be the best place we could be for them. So try to keep it as clean as possible. And I think I've done a good job of doing that so far. I always joke that I'll keep it clean until we pull a one-on-one out of one of these boxes, and then something might slip. But for the most part, we're going to keep it clean and hope that kids come here and really get involved in the hobby, ask questions, and have people to guide them along in the process. Because, I mean, it can be daunting nowadays that there's so much out there, so many products out there, that it can be overwhelming for somebody who's just trying to get started and you don't know where to start. And, that can even be the case for adults who are getting back into it, that this can be a really challenging place to get started. So we want to, be as welcoming and everything as we can to everybody. So, without further ado, we're going to get into the retail box of Optic first. I know it's always such a tease, you throw that hobby box out there and then, you got to get through the retail first. And what I've said about the retail, it's a cheaper product. It's really the entry into the hobby. Just kind of wets your whistle and gets you going. Hobby boxes are cheaper. You can pick them up anywhere that sells cards. Target, Walmart, just depending on whatever area of the country you're in. Wawa for those in Florida, wherever else those happen to be. Don't have too much experience with those. Usually find them at Target. Sometimes Walmart in this area. So with the retail products, I haven't had a lot of luck with retail this year. That's just the nature of the beast. I've said on the show before, the best thing I've pulled out of a retail pack this year, and I think it is the only numbered card that I pulled out. I found a Charles Oliveira in Donruss that was numbered to 49, so that was the best one, and the only numbered card that I pulled out of Optic this year. So it's a tough place to to find something great, but when you do find something great out of Optic, it's really refreshing. But this is my last retail box for the foreseeable future, and I'll go through every card as we open them up. So if you're listening audio only, I do make the audio only available on all the podcast platforms, the Apple Podcast, Shopify or Spotify. That's a totally different ball game here. All the places where you get your podcasts, you can find the audio on. I upload it right after the show, and if you are listening to audio only and you hear something that you might want, then go back and watch the YouTube video. It'll be on demand, and go back and see it for yourself. And send me a message. You can DM me. You can email me, like I said, Russ at orange-fire.com, or catch us on social media. So here we go through this Optic. Here's the first pack. The base cards first: Davison Figueiredo, Leon Edwards, Anthony Smith, Henry Cejudo, and another one to add to the John Jones lot, a stargazing out of Optic. So the John Jones lot continues to grow. And it will protect those as the ones that need to be as we go along. If we pull out a numbered card, then we'll get that in a top loader immediately. We'll kind of I save everything else for the end of the show, so not to take up even more time than I already have. So here we go with pack number 2. Marvin Vettori, Daniel Cormier, Rob Font, the Conor McGregor, and a silver Prizm Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar, the insert card in that pack. Pack number 3 in this retail box, with the hobby box coming up. And we got Michael Chandler, Michelle Watterson, rated rookie Ilya Topuria. Oh, wow, here we go. This is what you want out of a retail box. Rafael Dos Anjos, auto. And it's a silver auto at that. So, didn't expect to have to break out the top loader in the retail box, but that makes it worth it. That is the second best card that I've pulled out of a hobby this year. So RDA fans, silver Prizm autograph out of Optic. So we'll leave that one down here so that people can see that. Maybe I can prop that up just tall enough to prop up right there. Move it to this side, get it out of the light. And Stargazing Ian Gary was the last card in that pack. So RDA Signature Series autograph out of a retail box. So here we go in pack number 4, Matt Hughes, Juliana Pena, Zabit, Mackenzie Dern, and Valentina Shevchenko Dominators. Might give away Valentina a lot as well. Have to see what numbered card I have of hers, because I do want to give away a numbered card in each one of those. So here is pack number 5, Korean Zombie, Irene Aldana, Bilal Muhammad, Chuck Liddell, and another Holly Holm, also known as the Preacher's Daughter, that we can add to the Holly Holm lot that we're going to be giving away. Last pack in the retail, and on to the good stuff with the hobby. So there's Piotr Jan, tough decision last night. Jan Xiaonan, Charles Oliveira, Derek Brunson, and the last card is another one to add to the John Jones lot. That thing just keeps growing. I think it's up to 16 cards that we're going to give away. I believe that's the My House is already in there, but something to add to it anyway. So more Holly Holm, more John Jones in that lot. So here we go on to the hobby box. So one last time, that pretty good card out of a retail box with the RDA Signature Series Silver Prizm autograph. So not bad there on the retail product. So I'm going to move this box to Prizm. We'll come back to that later. Talk about that more when we set up next week's show. And also got to let you know what we've got on deck after that. That's the last product I have here, but I've got 2 other hobby boxes on the way, and I'm excited to tell you what those are, because you can pull some good stuff out of there. I hope. But I hope you're around for it. I hope you subscribe and watch the show. Listen to the show wherever you, however you want to do it. But you can only win these cards if you subscribe. So here we go with the hobby box. Let's do a few at a time. Get these sleeves and top loaders ready. Hopefully we need something big. All right, here we go with the hobby box. Jose Aldo, Colby Covington, Cowboy Donald Cerrone, and a Brandon Moreno Dominators for my buddy Emmanuel Robles. E, hope you're doing well, man. So we will set those aside. Again, if you're listening here live, go ahead and send me a message. Anybody you collect, any questions, any comments, please feel free to fill up that chat. So here we go, Rose Namajunas. We pulled a Rose autograph out of last week's box. That was our autograph card out of the hobby. It's a Brian Ortega, Israel Adesanya, and also known as the California Kid, Uriah Faber. We also had a numbered card of 49 of Aljamain Sterling last week. Here we go, the base cards in this pack. Yan Xiaonan again, Charles Oliveira, Derek Brunson, and a blue My House, Juliana Pena. That one is numbered 10 out of 49. So if you collect Juliana Pena, which I actually do a little bit of, that's a good pull there. So that'll join our Aljamain Sterling. Those are our two low-numbered cards that we've pulled out of Optic so far. So one more look at that. Juliana Pena, blue My House, Prizm, number 10 out of 49. So put that up there with RDA. You know, I know those packs opening up in the microphone are, you know, so some people might annoy, but other people just love that sound. So there's Aljamain Sterling, Beneil Dariush, Billy Quarantillo, and that same Aljamain Sterling with silver Prizm. So got those on the top and the bottom of the pack. So that's turning into a pretty good Aljo lot that I have, especially with that number to 49 last week. Base cards in this pack: Mackenzie Dern, Korean Zombie, Irene Aldana, and silver Prizm Sean Strickland, rated rookie. Here we go with Bilal Muhammad, Chuck Liddell, Piotr Jan, and also known as Dubronk's Charles Oliveira. Still looking for our auto out of this box, but we have pulled a blue Prizm My House Juliana Pena, numbered to 49. Base cards out of this pack: Jorge Masvidal, Marvin Vettori, Daniel Cormier, and GSP, George St. Pierre, My House. We're opening 2022 Donruss Optic tonight. This is our last hobby box of Optic. Rob Font, Conor McGregor. Here is our auto, Michael Chandler Optographs. Another good card in this pack is George St. Pierre, the red base, numbered to 199. So the red Prizm, 199 GSP. So those two cards in that pack. So let's get Michael Chandler taken care of. It's actually the second Michael Chandler autograph that I've pulled this year. The first one was tremendous. Got that one out of Chronicles. That was a gold flux, numbered 4 of 10. That was the first Michael Chandler autograph I pulled this year. Just kind of after Chandler was named to the Ultimate Fighter up against Conor McGregor, figured his stock would probably rise quite a bit. So I sent that one off to Beckett to be graded last week. So have 2 Michael Chandler autographs. If you're a Michael Chandler fan, those will be available to you. The other one, the Gold Flux, is off at the grader, hoping to have that back, in a couple weeks or so. But we'll let you know what the grade is when we come back. If you have any questions about grading, where to send them off, if you don't know anything about it, just ask me a question and I'll let you know. So, good pack there with the GSP and the Michael Chandler autograph. So let's keep going, even though we've kind of hit the big one there. See if we can get lucky and pull another auto out of here. Not an auto, but a good card nonetheless. Just I always open those the wrong way, and I end up seeing what's on the bottom first. But Michael Chandler base card, Michelle Watterson, Matt Hughes, and the Patty Pimblett Stargazing. So Patty just missed our hobby top 5. Our honorable mention this week is Ilya Topuria, Tom Aspinall, Patty Pimblett, and Habib Nurmagomedov. Even though Habib is not active anymore, he's in a lot of products, a lot of autographs. So Habib kind of sticks around just outside our top 5. So here's another pack. Juliana Pena, Zabit, Joe Martinez, Voices of the Octagon, and a silver Prizm, Benil Dariush. Again, we rebranded the podcast. If you were looking for the Orange Fire Media podcast and you stumbled upon this one, you're in the right place. It's the same thing. This is now the Fight Cards podcast presented by Orange Fire Media, and I'm Russ Reneau, the host of the show. We do this every Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Time on YouTube, and then the audio-only version is available pretty much right after the show's over. I go and upload it and get it available to you as quickly as I can. So here's this pack: Dominic Cruz, Arnold Allen, Marina Rodriguez, and look at that, Valentina Shevchenko, the pink Prizm, numbered to 79, 55 of 79. And I was just joking about giving away a Valentina lot to go along with the other 5 that we're already doing. And I didn't know if I had a numbered card of Valentina, but now I know that I do. So that might be something to look at down the line. We might be giving this away. So this might be yours one day if you subscribe to the show, but you cannot be entered into the giveaways unless you're a subscriber. So make sure that you subscribe. I'm trying to build this up as quickly as we can because I really want to grow the show. Of course, you want to monetize the show, get to 1,000 subscribers, and make money. But the goal is to make enough money to go out and buy more hobby boxes so that we can open more stuff on the show. We really want to buy as much Prizm as we can because that's really the product that everyone loves. It lasts, all year. People, are looking for Prizm. It never gets old. Some of the other products, they're hot when they first come out, but they fade off very quickly as everybody kind of gets what they want and everybody pulls all the one-of-ones. That the popularity of some of those go away quickly, but Prizm kind of holds its value, holds its popularity because it ends up being the best product all year long. So here's this pack: Askar Askarov, new flyweight champion Alexa Grasso, Tony Ferguson, and another John Jones My House. So whoever wins that lot will have plenty of John Jones My House, I think, in there. I think there's at least 2 now because we pulled 2, but I think there was already one in there. We're going to give you all of them. So Tito Ortiz, John Jones base. I don't think that one's in there yet. Rafael Fiziev, rated rookie, and Israel Adesanya Silver Prizm. So nice Izzy to add to my fighter lots, and we might get into the lot box when we run out of product. And I don't want to run out of product, but it's just kind of the nature of the show. Just I do want to hold off and not buy anything else but Prizm at this point. But I did break down and buy a couple of things that we'll talk about here in a second. And here we go with this one. Nate Diaz, another one for Emmanuel. Derek Lewis, BJ Penn, Marco Sullivan, you'll be getting that one. And a John Jones Stargazing, so that just keeps growing. That's going to be a 20, 25 card lot that we're giving away before it's all said and done. And that's the stuff we want to do on the show. The more that we can monetize it, the more stuff we can give away. I just want to give it back, just really, really open and honest with you there. Kaikara France, Tyler Santos, Max Holloway, and another also known as the Preacher's Daughter, Holly Holm. The lots keep growing, folks. This pack: Khabib Nurmagomedov, Holly Holm base, Sean Brady, and a Rose Namajunas Silver Prizm. So another Rose to add to a lot there, and that includes the Optograph that we pulled last week. Haven't seen a numbered card in a while. We've pulled 2 so far in the autograph. Gilbert Burns, Bryce Mitchell, Alexander Rakic, and Ian Gary Stargazing. We'll go back through our pulls for tonight here in just a second before we reveal what we've got coming up after the big Prizm opening next week. Alex Perez, Islam Makhachev, Stephen Thompson, and Valentina Shevchenko Dominators. 2 packs left. See if we can get one more numbered card out of this before we get out of here tonight. Jan Blachowicz, Vicente Luque, Stipe Miocic, and a Glover Teixeira Stargazing Prizm. That's Silver Prizm. So one more pack left. Come on, let's get one more numbered card out of this hobby. Just one more. Don't think we got it. Corey Sandhagen, Glover Teixeira, Daniel Rodriguez, and Brian Ortega Silver Prizm. So not too disappointing of a box. We ended up with 3 numbered cards and an Optograph. So look at what we pulled today. I think we were kind of, pressing our luck by pulling the RDA autograph out of the retail box. So let's go through the numbered cards we got. Valentina Shevchenko, I believe that's Pink Pulsar Prizm, 55 of 79. George St. Pierre, the red, numbered to 199. Might have a GSP giveaway. Juliana Pena, blue, My House Prizm, 10 of 49. And the Michael Chandler Optograph. So that was everything out of the hobby box that we opened. And we pulled this out of the retail. The Rafael dos Anjos Signature Series Silver Prizm. So not too bad for retail. So 3 numbered cards, 2 autographs tonight. All of those are available to you. Just email me, Russ, at orange-fire.com, or find me on social media on Facebook. You can also find Orange Fire Media on Facebook, or all the social media platforms at Orange Fire Media. And just shoot me a message, and that's all there. Drop something in the chat if you want to. If you're watching live, go ahead and send me your questions and your comments. I'd love to hear from you. So we're going to move on to what we're opening next week, because we'll be talking everything UFC 286 next week, March 18th from London, the O2 Arena. That main event, champion Leon Edwards and the former champion, number one contender in the welterweight division, Kamaru Usman. Usman looking to retake that title, losing his pound-for-pound number one spot in that matchup in Salt Lake City last August. So looking for revenge in the third meeting between those two, the rubber match between Edwards and Usman. And also the co-main event, Justin Gaethje, number 3 ranked lightweight against the number 6 ranked lightweight in Rafael Fiziev. So it should be a great event next week. We'll talk about that. Then we'll preview the big fight night, a really good card for being a non-pay-per-view event on March 25th in San Antonio. So we'll open this box of Prizm next week as we talk about UFC 286. So next week should be a great show as we open this. I'm really excited about that and looking forward to it. So coming up, I don't have them in hand yet, but they are ordered. So here's where we are going to reveal what we're opening here in the next couple of weeks. First, on March 26th, we're going to open a hobby box of 2020 Topps. So I've got that on order and hopefully get that next week and have that available for March 26th. And then on April 2nd, we will be opening a hobby box of 2015 Topps Chronicles. So that's what we have coming up after the Prizm. So we're set for the next 3 weeks. Might have to fill in a little bit before we get to the 2023 Prizm. So that's due to come out on April 28th. And the undercard boxes, those aren't retail. Those are just a new variation from Panini. Undercard comes out on May 10th. So we'll be looking to get as much as we can. And, you know, the more that we can get rid of on this show, the more that we can afford to get some 23 Prizm. And really look forward to opening as much of that as we possibly can. So I'll order those. And if we're looking at April 28th, I don't know exactly when we'll get those in. Maybe we'll have if they're firm on that April 28th date, maybe we'll have those by the UFC 288 event on May 6th. So that'd be our May 7th show that we're looking at. So we open some of those on May 7th. That would be awesome if they stick to that date and we could do that. And that'd be a good recap of UFC 288. So that is the show for today. And just want to remind you that we do this live every Sunday right here on YouTube. This is the new Fight Cards podcast presented by Orange Fire Media, and I am Russ Reneau. I host this show every week, and we're just looking to make it better, looking to get, to a place where I don't have to produce everything on my own, and that we can get some guests in here that'll make it easier on me and give some better content for you. But right now, the star of the show is the cards, and we've had a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun opening it and showing it off to you. And like I said, everything's available to you. So, take advantage of that. Shoot me a message. Again, before we get out of here, contact information, russ@orange-fire.com is the email address. You can find us at Orange Fire Media on all the social media platforms. You can catch us right here live on YouTube every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central. And then I'll upload the audio-only version of the podcast right after the show. So it'll be on Apple Podcasts, be on Spotify, be everywhere that you usually get your podcasts. It'll be available here in the next hour or so. And if you hear something, if you're listening audio only and you hear a card, just go back and watch the show if you want to see it and shoot me a message that you're interested. So I really appreciate everyone coming here for episode number 7. And next week is going to be a huge show with UFC 286 and a hobby box of 2022 Panini Prizm as we get ready for the release of the 2023 products with the Prizm coming out on April 28th. Again, hope you all have a great night and a great week, and we'll see you right here next week on the Fight Cards podcast, presented by Orange Fire Media.